When is good enough simply not good enough? Hi, it's Barry Phillips. So 10-minute Torah, day number 2, the Torah portion, Shoftim. Let's go to Deuteronomy, or Devarim, chapter number 17. We'll begin with verse number 1 and then pick up over the other verses in a few moments. Do not slaughter to Yahweh your Elohim a bull or a sheep which has any blemish, any evil matter, for that is an abomination to Yahweh your Elohim. The word abomination here is the word to'avah. It means to be disgusting, it means to be abhorrent, and it means that which is loathed. So when Yah says that something is an abomination to him, he says, I loathe it. It is disgusting to me. So a bull or a sheep. Now a bull is, even with a mar on its body, is still a valuable animal. But Yah says, not good enough. When you read Malachi, the prophet, the first chapter, Yah is very much displeased, greatly upset with the functioning priesthood of that day. And he basically says, you bring sick animals to me, that which has inferior quality to them, and you expect me to receive them. Take those to your governor and see if he wants them. If he doesn't want them, why do you think I want them? Again, to paraphrase, he says, I wish somebody would just put the fire out at the altar, close the doors, and everyone go home. If we're not going to do whatever we do in his name to the best of our ability, to the highest quality that we can possibly offer, then basically Yah is saying, not interested. I remember years and years ago, and let's change years for decades ago, as a child and as a traveling evangelist in some very, very early years, being in locations where people would get up to sing a song and basically say, haven't practiced, haven't sang this song in a long while, but somebody requested that I sing it, so y'all pray for me as I do the best I know how. And they would then continue on to present a song that was less than of any quality, stumbling through it and forgetting words, etc. What is the reason for that? Why would we even try? Well, it's just what we do at times. There is a need then that we excel in every place that we have an ability to do so. Here it says, the altar. When you bring something to my altar, well, we don't have altars in our backyards, nor do we have one in Jerusalem. So this opportunity is not really afforded to us. However, we still have the feast days. We still have Shabbat. We still have the quality of our walk before others. We still have the presentation of Yeshua through our daily living among those who see and hear us. So if we're going to engage in the celebration of the days that Yah says that he's going to be there and celebrate with us, whether that's Pesach or Shavuot, Sukkot, Yom Kippur, he's expecting us to bring our best. Shabbat is a day that we can become very, very casual about, where it's just a different meal, maybe a little spicier, a little more food on the table, but still, it's a very casual atmosphere. We're going to pray some prayers that are a little extra before we eat, and now let's just get on with the normal business of things. This is the day that Yah has set apart, and as such, he expects us to be set apart on it. Again, it's very easy to become casual about it, but that's not what the word seems to afford us. This is juxtaposed then in verse 2 and following about those that would change their affections from the face of Yah toward the sun, moon, and stars. No one in their reasonable mind, if you can find such folks these days, no one in a reasonable state of mind is going to look at planetary bodies, the sun, moon, or stars, and say these are gods, that they need to be appeased and worshiped, and that they chart the course of our life. But there are those that have turned to mysticisms, they have turned to Wicca, they have turned to tarot cards, they have turned to fortune telling and horoscopes and so on, believing that there are indeed outside spiritual forces that by some means determine our future. The word tells us very plainly that the steps of a man, a righteous man, are ordered of Yah. So for those that are walking in righteousness, there is no need to turn to such things. Yah says that we are to bring into judgment those who have done this. Well, we're not in the land, and that's not really an available option for us, but we do not have to participate with them or be entertained by those who do. So we do have a choice. Now, when it comes down to the end of this chapter, it says in verse 14, when you come to the land which Yahweh your Elohim has given you, and shall possess it and shall dwell in it, and you shall say, let me set a sovereign over me like all the nations that are around me. You shall certainly set a sovereign over you whom Yahweh your Elohim shall choose. And you are to set one from among your brothers. You are not allowed to set a foreigner over you who is not your brother. And then Yah begins to set up some parameters here. He is not to increase horses for himself. They're not to return to Mitzrayim for increase. They're not to increase wives for themselves. They're not to hoard silver or gold for themselves. And here is the very important thing. They are to handwrite a version or a copy, an exact copy of the Torah in a scroll for themselves, copied verbatim from that which the priests are maintaining and keeping. And he is to have this Torah scroll with him at all times while he reigns as king. What is this saying to us? Casual leadership is not to be afforded to Israel. We are not to follow the crowned heads of Europe model from ancient and medieval days, where basically the edict of the king, the word of the king or the queen in that case, is absolute law and it is carried out without question. That's not the way that we are to see rulers rule in Israel. They are to rule in conjunction with prophets and priests and those that are judges in the land. No one is given authority to run roughshod over the government nor over the people, but rather the need to walk together. A king very well may rule and rule firmly. He may require the conscription of labor force or even armed military service. He may exact taxes from the people to supply the needs of his household and for those who work for him. He may indeed order the building of certain buildings, and he can legislate pretty fairly and firmly broadly. However, the prophet has the authority to walk into the throne room and point his finger, as Nathan did to David, and say, you're guilty, and Yah is calling you out. So there then is a sense of balance. In Yochanan, John chapter 13, Yeshua instructs us that those who are to serve to lead must do so as servants. And we are to wash one another's feet. If you want to be great, then you humble yourself. You serve others. All of this is about a sense of balance. Ah, what a word. What a powerful word. When we do our best, when we're offering to Yah our full and complete heart and effort in whatever it is that we have undertaken to do, we realize that it's not about us, it's about Him, and that we're servants of Him, that we come to honor and to glorify Him. We're not building edifices or ministries or efforts in our own name, but in His name. So it's to honor and glorify Him. Doing that means we give Him our best. We guard what we put on the altar because it reflects our opinion and our understanding of Yeshua. Everything that we give to Him reflects the quality of Yeshua. Tall order. Let's think about these things today, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, shalom.